Hello, my name is Jocelyn Utz, and today I am going to be giving my informative speech on my favorite band, Flor. A little bit about the band before we get started. They were created 3 years ago, however, the group has been making music together for over 10 years. I first discovered them as a 16-year-old sophomore in high school, and so I have literally seen every step that this group has taken to get to where they are now, which is why I'm so excited to share with you how they originated, discuss the transitory period that solidified their sound and styling, and lastly discuss where they are now in the music industry and what we can expect from them in the coming year. So Flor has a very unique sound styling, one that incorporates the mix between indie pop and synth-based tracks. Indie music is best described as an aesthetic contemporary genre in which independent artists release their music with the help of production labels. Many artists have began using synthesizers, which are computerized keyboards, to record their own sounds and put on their tracks. Over the past couple years, Flor has taken these two musical stylings and fused them together to form a one-of-a-kind sound. However, it did take them a while to find their voice. I would like to introduce you to the band members. First, we have Zach Grace, who is the lyricist, lead vocalist, and multi-instrumentalist. McKinley Kitts is the band's guitarist. Dylan Bald not only plays the bass, but is also the band's music director, as he has actually began his career producing music for major artists. And lastly, Kyle Hill is the band's drummer. The boys were born and raised in Oregon. Dylan, Bald, and Kitts all grew up going to school together. I believe they began going to school together in middle school and went all the way throughout high school, and towards the end of high school, they actually began making their own music. Shortly after they graduated, however, they found Kyle Hill on Craigslist and hired him on to be the band's drummer. Once the band formed, they began making music under a name called Sunderland, which was a rock band. However, as they progressed, the boys decided to move to LA. The move was originally initiated by Bald, who wanted to move down to kickstart his career as a music producer and encouraged that the boys follow. Once all four of them were in LA, they quickly realized that Sunderland was not the image that they wanted to present to their fans, and so they underwent a period of changing their sound and styling. This involved scratching everything that they had previously done. All their work was deleted, and Zach actually became the lead singer of the band. Originally, it was McKinley Kitts. However, once they realized just how special Zach's voice was, how unique his styling kind of blended into the new music they were making, they found it a very smart move to make this switch. So now Grace is the lead singer, and the band is now recording new music, which was the official switch from Sunderland to Flor. After they gained some exposure in LA within the industry, they were approached by a major record label called Fueled by Ramen, who has signed major artists like Paramore, Fall Out Boy, and Panic at the Disco. Flor signed their first record deal with Fueled by Ramen and was able to release their first debut album. After the release of their first EP, which they called Sounds, which incorporated 4 of their originals, major artists began taking notice of them. Pop singer Halsey actually invited the band to go on her Badlands tour with her, and this helped with the promotion of their debut album that would be released later that year. The band quickly gained a large following after touring with Halsey and actually accumulated over 900,000 listeners on Spotify alone. I follow them on every social media site, and I've seen just how many fans they have brought to them just within the last year. It's incredible. I remember they only had like 1,000 followers on Instagram, and now they're up to 13,000 just a little over a year later. Just last week, Flor actually announced that they are going to be going on their first ever headlining tour beginning in January of 2018, and I'm excited to share that they will actually be at the Rebel Lounge here in Phoenix on March 2nd. So, although they started in a small corner of the Pacific Northwest, Flor is making their dream a reality by making and producing their own music. Their transition from Oregon to Los Angeles was a move in the right direction, as this led to many opportunities to help them create their styling and image, and with the doors opened by Being signed with Fueled by Ramen and going on tour with Halsey, they have really created a fan base that they can be proud of. With the growing of their fan base, the release of their debut album, and the announcement of their first headlining tour, I encourage you guys to keep your eyes out on these guys because I can assure you that there is definitely more to come.